Peace, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum. And I'm very happy to be here. Very happy to be speaking with you. And it is a pleasure to be doing the work of the one who has authored the work and the one who has given the work. The author of the work is Master Fard Muhammad. The organization is the Nation of Islam. And those unto the lost and found nation of Islam, the original nation of Islam. So we bear witness that this is the truth that we speak. And we bear witness that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is a messenger of Allah and that these teachers have come unto us. We bear witness to that. So we find no separation in the work that we're doing. We find absolutely no separation. We don't care from what, I should say denomination, if I can use that. That you are within the Muslim movement. We believe that all are welcome, and if you're following the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that somehow we are united to do the will of God. And the will of God is that we will all be free. That's the will of God. And today I can honestly speak and say it's been a very difficult time in learning for the transition from one year to the next, but I have no ill will toward anyone. And my desire, my prayer is that all of us will come together. So I'm very, very, very thankful for that. Very thankful for what God is doing in all of our lives. I'm trying to work these systems, brothers and sisters, and also stay on track. That is the challenge that I have before me. And as you know, in our start. In our start that we find the music to put us in the right mood, right? And I'm just myself, an old farm boy in heart, whether it be from DC or Arkansas, or whether it be from Tennessee, places that we have land. My family owned lands in those places, Blytheville, Arkansas. Whether it be in the upstate New York. We always run farms there, independent philosophy, do for self philosophy, and that's the philosophy that I bring to you today. Do for self kind of philosophy, and the subject that we have is a very, very strong subject. And actually, forgive me as I upload what would be the mood and the rhythm of this work that I'm going to do tonight. And I will actually, to get back before you, I'm going to run 7 strong days, and I pray, my desire and my prayer is that I'll be able to run these 7 days and coming this far by faith, leaning and depending on God Allah. And you could call him Jesus or Christ or Jehovah or whatever you want, but I'm talking about he who is the author and finisher of our faith, whether we know it or not. The Messiah, the one to come. For our day has come and our Messiah has come. So, brothers and sisters, I'm very happy right now. Very happy to be back in this position. And as usual, we're going to play our theme music and let it run its course as we're coming back. And that we'll be able to talk about the subject that is before us tonight, or the subject that is on us tonight, because we have to talk about self-love, and that's where I'll be coming from to talk to you about self-love. We got to have it, brothers and sisters. We got to have it. We got to have self-love. You need it, I need it, and we need it for the people. As parents, we need it for our children. And if you're married or with someone, I pray that you will stay there, and that all other attachments that you have can be brought unto reconciliation in our love for one another, our love for ourselves, so that God will be able to, with the willingness of our own hearts and our own mind, will be able to bring us together, so we'll be able to love one another and show and operate in love, because that's ultimately what will make us different than anyone else, and especially as Black people. I'm not going to say Muslim, because if I say the Black Muslim, then the first thing that you're going to say is that I'm not Muslim. So what we want to do is we want to leave our religion in the closet. We want to leave it in the trunk of our cars. We want to leave it on the shelf. And we want to get the books of knowledge down. It talks universally about the God that has woke us up this morning, the God that has started us on our way. We want to get in touch with that God. And so, brothers and sisters, for that reason tonight, we have to talk about love for one another. We have to talk about that. So there's no way that you can hate the tree, or rather hate the roots of a tree without hating the tree. There's just no way. And I'd like to talk to you about that tonight, because I believe that many of us, unfortunately, many of us have, by hating Africa, have ended up hating ourselves. And I see a very serious thing happening. I see a very serious thing happening with us. If you look, no matter where you are today, you find that the black man, the brown man, and the red man is going back to their heritage. And we know that all the continents were dark. We already know that. And because we know the continents were dark, then they're going back to their African heritage. Never before have we seen this kind of action from the time that this country was taken into conception of slavery. We haven't seen it. But today we're in a very strange time where brothers and sisters, because of this great change that's happening to us, because of the great change that is happening to our nation, brothers and sisters, no matter what the race, if I can use that term, the so-called race, no matter what the so-called nativity, no matter what the continent, they're getting in touch with their African roots. And there's no way, there's just no way that they can discover who they are unless they first discover who their origin is or what their origin is. There's no way. So I'm happy to understand that without the black man around the planet, and I have to build this way, brothers and sisters, because there are brothers and sisters out there that don't even know, that don't understand. They don't have any idea or any inclination of how great they are, brothers and sisters. And I tell you, oh, you're great people, brothers and sisters. You're great people. And there'd be no nation without you. There'd be no beginning of any other nation without you. And that says a whole lot. That says a whole lot. So I'm happy. I'm so excited today when I think each time that I see a brother or sister wake up and learn about the knowledge of who they are, what they were doing, where they come from, the arts and sciences that they made, the technology that they showed on stage, on the world stage, the inventions that they're responsible for. I mean, it's amazing, brothers and sisters. When you know that our people were so great that they knew that the earth was round before the European even knew that the earth wasn't flat, that they could organize the stars and the constellations by certain points of an astrological compass. Brothers and sisters, we've done some great things. We've done some great things. And it's time for us to do greater. But we have to understand exactly where we come from. And that's what I'm going to do today. We're going to take our time and we're going to read. We're going to read from the Bible, the King James Version, the unedited version. The unedited King James Version. That's the black version of the Bible. And King James himself is black. You can research that. You wanted the fun facts that you could come up with as our people are struggling to find out who they are. They have to understand who they are, brothers and sisters. You got to understand who you are. You have to understand your importance. If you don't understand your importance, you'll never understand how important you are to this society. If you don't understand where you come from, then you won't know where you're going. I didn't say you won't know where to go, but you won't know where you're going. And the only way that you know, only reason why today you know where you're going is because, brothers and sisters, your ancestors, those that were here before us. And when I say ancestors, I'm speaking paternal, I'm speaking maternal, and I'm speaking social, I'm speaking spiritual, right? Toward the area of enlightenment. There was a time when we understood who we are. We understood our purpose. We knew where we were going in this world. And today, tonight, this evening, I want to set the record straight for you because I want you to know who you are. I want you to know who you are. I know that the Bible said that that man is 7,000 years old. The white man think that the earth is 7,000 years old. Why, brothers and sisters, he's out of his mind. I said he's out of his mind. When you find that there are paintings that are at least 14,000 years old, backed up by carbon data, then you know that man's out of his mind. But the dawning of his civilization was only 7,000 years old. And it is to these civilizations that Moses went to. These civilizations that Adam went to, Methuselah. These civilizations that Elijah and Elisha or Elisha and Eliah went to. These civilizations. Trying to teach them. It's these civilizations that Jesus went to when he was in the desert. Trying to teach and trying to educate these people. Trying to civilize these people. And they turned their back on the word of God. I said they turned their back on the word of God. And not only that, but they integrated in our societies when our laws told us not to integrate with them. And they corrupted our way of thinking. I said they corrupted our way of thinking, brothers and sisters. And it put us in the situation that we're in today. So, brothers and sisters, I'm thankful and I'm grateful to be here before you tonight. And we're going to read from several books. First, we're going to read from the Quran. And I say a unison prayer with us all. Because we know that God is omnipotent. We know that he's merciful. We know that he is indeed important. And we also know that without him, we can do nothing. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. But with him, we can do all things. So we come unto God this evening. Our desire and our prayer to our holy God is that we would understand, hear the word, and come together. That's our prayer. It's going to be short. Normally, I go through the Muslim prayer. Normally, I go through it. But tonight, I wanted to say something in unity for all of us, Black Christians and Black Muslims alike. And this is going to be something that we would do often when I come on the station. And I intend, brothers and sisters, to be on the station. I have to have to have a work schedule. I work for myself. But I'm trying to put in schedules starting this night, where the next 7 days that we'll be going over these, the word, going over encouragement, and then after that, coming before you at least once a week. So I'm very thankful to have the strength to do it. Very thankful to have the strength to do it. But I'd like to read to you very quickly, and this is about truth. This is about truth. And you have to understand about this truth. Because if you read the truth, then you get some understanding. Man has gotten away from God. Man has gotten away from God, so we have to come back to God. And for that reason, we go to the source maker. We go, as far as the Quran is concerned, or some of you say Quran, we're going to the source. Going to the source, isn't that right? Our days of consecration is coming up where we'll be fasting and praying. And brothers and sisters, you should be fasting and praying, whether you're Muslim or not, during this time of Ramadan. You should be fasting and praying. You should be fasting and praying every day. But you certainly should be in a consecrated fast, a consecrated prayer in this great day, in this great hour. So brothers and sisters, we're certainly going to pray after we've said a short prayer in unison, right? A universal prayer, if you will. And we're going to read, and so we can get some understanding today. And I want to thank you very much for being here with us. Also, brothers and sisters, I want you to understand that the links over in the right side of the column. And if you look at those links, there's some things that you can purchase. We ask you to purchase it. I'm not prideful at all, and we'll certainly use your support. With everything we do, we support ourselves. I don't care if it's a penny. I don't care if it's 50 cents. You send us something, we'll definitely send something back to you. But we pray that if you're able to do better, that you do better. But we're not going to hold any information back from you, brothers and sisters. So we thank you very much. We have medicine you can take. There's herbal medicine that's good for healing, that works directly in line with how to eat to live. We have a diet plan from Veggie Station that you could go to. And also, for those of you that want clothing, shoes, and oils, we have those. We have those things. So just want to let you know that we have those things for you, and you can get them. We ask and pray that you would get them from us. Also, we have a sister out there, Sister Kashi. Sister Brittany Kashi is making great pies. If you go on the internet, go to my page, you'll see a young lady who's selling pies. These pies are great. I'm ordering some myself, so I intend to eat those. And I'll show you all those pies once they make it here to me. So I love the Muslim bean pie. Love the bean pie. And I can't wait to sink my teeth into some, because I haven't been working too hard to be able to make it. So I haven't been able to make any bean pies because I've been working so hard. But I thank Allah for Sister Brittany Kashi, because she's a very great cook. Her and her husband, they make great bean pies, and I'm so thankful to them. So thankful to them. And her name is Brittany Kashi. I'll try to put that in the chat so that you'll have it. Right now, brothers and sisters, I'm reading from the Quran, the 19th surah, and the name of it is Miriam or Mary, for those who don't understand Miriam in Arabic. And a little bit about the chapter, this Mecca chapter, that's what's called the Meccan chapter, right? This Meccan chapter recounts the miraculous story of the birth of Jesus by the Virgin Mary, after whom the chapter is named. The birth of John the Baptist to old Zechariah and his elderly barren wife. Other prophets are cited as recipients of God's favor and grace, attributing children to God, verse 88 through 95, and denial of resurrection, verses 66 through 70, are rejected as outrageous and blasphemous. Both the end of this chapter and the beginning of the next one will talk about the purpose of revealing the Quran. So I'd like to read a little bit of this so you could get a strong foundation. The name of God, the most passionate, the merciful. We said the name of God, the most beneficent, the merciful, right? We give all praise to him, the beneficent, the merciful, master of the dear requital. Thee do we serve, and thee do we serve alone. Guide us on the right path. That our path will not be a path that is against him, but it'll be a path that you have put us on, and a path that will bring glory and righteousness. And I said the last end to make it more plain to those that are listening today, because I don't want anyone to be confused, and I don't want anyone to be left out. So we're reading again from the 19th surah, Mary, or Miriam. In the name of God, the most compassionate, most merciful. This is a reminder of your Lord's mercy to his servant Zechariah, when he cried out to his Lord privately, saying, My Lord, surely my bones have become brittle, and gray hair has spread across my head, but I have never disappointed in my prayer to you. And I am concerned about the fate of my relatives after me, since my wife is barren. So grant me by your grace an heir who will inherit prophethood from me and the family of Yaakov, and make him, O Lord, pleasing to you. You notice he said from the family of Yaakov, and make him pleasing to you. Now, what I want you to understand is that this validates the Quran, or Quran, as many of you call it, validates um, the Bible and its principle. The Bible, of course, the Quran is older. There's no age on the Quran. We know that Christianity has been forced upon us for 600 years. We already know that. And we know that it comes from Egypt because we know the man stole it and got it from Egypt. So we already know that, but you need validation of the Quran. And the validation is that the Quran is older than the Bible because it has no beginning. And anyone that said that the Quran was written after the Bible is a lie, because it is as old, if not older than time. Now, brothers and sisters, we talk about the foundation. So we're not going to read the Quran, and there's no way that I would read the Quran and then leave the scriptures out. So we have to go to the very scriptures, right? So we say, where do we need to go? A good place would be the book of John, right? We talk about the birth of John. So a good place would be the book of John. So it's very easy to find. You just go to the Gentile Bible and you go Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, right? John should be the fourth gospel, or the fourth book in what is noted as the gospel, right? And so we want to start there reading, right? We want to start there reading so we'll know exactly who God is talking about in front of beginning. Who God is talking about in front of beginning. So we want to talk about that. We want to thank Brother King Noble, higher self, for chiming in, brother. We thank you. Welcome. Glad to see you. Glad that you're here. And the foundation of this word has to go out. Our brothers and sisters need to understand certainly who they are. And so we talk about the writing of John. Let's talk about it from a historical standpoint. First of all, the writer, the fourth gospel, was written by the Apostle John, right? John 21 to 24. And this has been questioned on critical grounds. Just want to give you the background. But on the same grounds with the equal scholarship, the early date of Johannine authorship have been maintained. They maintain that this writing was copied because the apostles, I want you to understand, the prophets and all of them were black. So anytime they said that the Quran comes after the Bible, this is a lie, brothers and sisters, because you all through the Bible. And I tell people, say, where do you open the Bible? What color are the words? Black. So you understand that the word had to be black, right? The word is black. The people are black, and the word became flesh, right? And dwelt among men, dwelt among mankind. We're not mankind, right? We're not mankind. Mankind is a kind of man, but we are human. We are human kind, and we are man, but we're not mankind. And we'll get into that a little more. But the date of the John Gospel fall between AD 85 and 90 AD. Probably the latter. The theme is indicated both in the prologue, right? And that's John 1 through 14. In the last verse of the gospel, the proper theme. This is indicated in the prologue, so that's important for you to know. And the incarnation of the eternal word, Son of God himself, in Jesus Christ, right? That's in 20 and 31. So you'll be able to find this. And all of this is in the gospel according to St. John. And we're talking about the roots of the tree, right? Because we got to understand, I want you to understand what the roots are. You're busy hating the tree, but you can't hate, or rather busy hating the roots, your own roots. But you can't hate the roots of a tree without hating the tree. You can't hate Africa without hating yourselves. You're the branches of the tree, and all this truth comes from you. That's all I'm telling you, is that it comes from you. The theme is indicated both in the prologue, John 1 through 14, and the last verse of the gospel, right? Prosper, right? 20 and 31, and is the incarnation of the eternal word and the Son of God, himself God, in Jesus the Christ. To reveal God in the terms of a human life. Understand that. So that means God is man. God is a man, right? God is a human. God is human. The prominent words are believed and life, Son of God, right? the Son of God, may have eternal life. That's 20 and 31 if you want to search it. The prominent words are believed and life. The book is 7 natural divisions, right? John 1, 15 to 34, right? The public ministry of Christ, 135 through, let's see, the first chapter, the 35th verse through the 12th chapter and the 50th verse, right? The private ministry of Christ to his own, the sacrifice of Christ, the manifestation of Christ and resurrection, that's 20 and 30. And also the epilogue. The epilogue are the events leading up to the master of life and service performed by Jesus Christ. The epilogue, the events, the order in which things were done, right? And then the events recorded in this book cover a period of 7 years. In this book is a period of 7 years. So you have to understand that. So it was 3.5 years prior to the ministry that John is talking about, 3.5 years. And we understand that his ministry was 3.5 years. So when you put those together, you got 7 years. So brothers and sisters, let me just read a little bit from the beginning and from the first chapter of St. John, the Gospel according to St. John. And I'm going to read chapter 1 through the 10th verse. And just want to read this, or rather 1 through the 13th verse. I just want to read this very quickly. Excuse me, brothers and sisters, 1 through the first chapter, first verse through the 14th verse, just to get some understanding of where we are, where we're coming from. So it reads, in the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. Understand that. In the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. This is physical. The same was in the beginning with God. His pre-incarnation work. This is what it's talking about, right? That is the God, right? The God force. His pre-incarnation work. Hebrews 1 and 2. So all things were made by him. Without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. Shine into darkness. What darkness? What darkness was it shining? When a person is in darkness, they're in ignorance. They're in ignorance when they're in darkness. You have a lot of brothers and sisters that are in ignorance because they're listening to a ruler. They're listening to a master that is in ignorance. So when the knowledge, the truth came, they didn't understand it because they were in ignorance. And once the one that was willing evil, had heard the truth, then he desired to keep the others in darkness because the truth was the light of their salvation. The minute that you learn who you are, then they know that you weren't going to be in that situation any longer. And I want you to understand that you are the prophets. I want you to understand that you are the God race. I want you to understand that you are the children of the original God of creation of this earth. I want you to understand that. Who named the stars, who set the moon on high. That's you. That's you. You are the children of the sun. That's you. You're not the moon people. You're not the ice people. You're the sun people. You're the warm people. So the light shined in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. In the ministry of John the Baptist, if you look at the 29th verse through the 34th verse, if you look at Matthew, the 3rd chapter, the 1st to the 17th verse, if you look at Mark, the 1st chapter, the 1st verse through the 11th verse, if you look at Luke, the 3rd chapter, 1st verse through the 3rd verse, then you understand that there was a man sent from God whose name was John, who had in other words, sent from God, who had the genetic DNA the genetic DNA that would teach brothers and sisters, right, between all right and wrong, and would also teach the enemy. And you know what I mean when I say enemy. I know you know it. I don't have to say it because you've been listening to me long enough to know it. But the enemy loved darkness rather than light, just like many of you. You love darkness rather than light, and you know the truth of God is written on your heart and it's sins in your mind. You know who God is. But many of you won't follow God. And in rejecting God, you're rejecting yourself. In rejecting the tree of life, you're rejecting salvation eternal. In hating the roots of that tree, that is your life, your legacy, and your lineage, you are hating the tree itself, and there's no way that you can hate the roots of a tree without hating the tree. There's no way you can hate Africa and its contribution to the entire world, its contribution which brought forth to us God from on high. There's no way that you yourself can hate Africa and love yourself. And I'll tell you another thing too. There's no way that you can be in a relationship with someone that don't have the roots that you have and not dishonor yourself. And I'm not going to touch that today because I know some brothers and sisters right now, I put them in a daze because they've been listening to some soft stuff that's not going to help you. It's not going to help me. It's not going to help our children. That's coming here today to give you the truth. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. The same came for a witness to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. He was not the light, but was sent to bear witness of the light. The one Yahashua Aliyah Asa, or the one called Jesus Christ, is the true light. That was the true light which lighted every man that come into the world. He, notice it said man and not mankind. And there's no mistake in this Bible. He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. The world knew him not. The world belongs to mankind. The world is wary. The world is without direction. That belongs to Satan. Is that right? That belongs to a satanic race. They don't know God. They don't know Jesus because they don't know God. Is that right? But we bear witness because our Savior has come. Our Savior has come. And we know the word came to Master Fard Muhammad. And we believe that. We believe it. In 1930s, right? In the 1930s. Some will contend 1930s, 5. I would say 1930 through 35, or rather from 1930 through 35 of July. And that he came, and not only that, but the teachings were taught strong in that region and that time. Even while the Master Fard went from door to door to encourage brothers and sisters. But it came to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad in 1935, and it was his wife, Mother Sister Clara, that told him about this man that was speaking life. And so, brothers and sisters, he was in the world. The world was made by him, but the world knew him not. There are two classes, right, that we have to deal with. We've got sons who belong to the children of God. We'll call them the son children, children of the sun people, generation of the sun, right? And then we got the moon people who has nothing to do with the sun. The moon people don't have anything to do with the sun, brothers and sisters. Huh? If the moon get too close to the sun, it'll burn it up. And if the sun get too close to the moon, the sun will burn the moon up. Is that right? So these are the two classes people we're dealing with sons of God, daughters of God, right? Sons and daughters of God. That's one class. When it says sons, it means daughters too. And the other is talking about the unbelievers. The unbelievers are in the world, right? You just read that was the true light which lighted every man that come into the world. The truth. Give light to every man that come into the world, right? He was in the world. He was in the world. Isn't that right? And the world was not made by him, right? The world was made by him, right? And the world knew him not. He made the world, but the world didn't know him. Is that right? The world didn't know him. So he came unto his own, and his own received him not. Why? Because they're influenced by the world. What do you see happening today? That men and women are consumed by this world, influenced by this world, guided by this world. The church, right, is guided by this world, brothers and sisters. Used to be a time when you be at church and you could listen to the minister and you knew that he believed what he was saying. You knew it. You knew he believed it. And he would give his life for it. Now you got so many charlatans in the pulpit. It's a shame, brothers and sisters. Really a shame. And they're leading people to poverty, leading them in deeper forms of hell, right? Deeper forms of hell. We can debate the fiery and brimstone hell. But I tell you what, we're experiencing enough hell right here and now. We're experiencing so much hell here and now that we're just trying to find a little piece of heaven every day, every second, every minute, every hour. We're trying to find a little piece of heaven because we're catching hell. Everywhere we turn, we're catching hell. But there is hope. But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become sons of God, even to them that believe on his name, which were born not of blood, nor of the will of flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. Who are these people that are born of God? That's our incarnation. And the word was made what? Flesh, and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as the only begotten Son of God, full of grace and truth. Brothers and sisters, don't you know that we're blessed today? That we know God. We know who God is. And there's some people now even saying, and I tell you, to hear black people say, and that's really shocking, that they don't even believe in the resurrection of the Christ. They don't even believe in the life cycle of the Christ. They don't even know that they're rejecting their own self. It's the white man that tells you that God is not real. The white man who's created the atheist. The white man has created the agnostic. The white man, anything that goes against what he says isn't real. The white man is doing that, and it puts you and I in such a difficult place. It puts you and I in a quagmire where we don't understand what's going on. Our children can't understand what's going on because you're listening to the wrong God. The white man is not your God. He's not your God. And when you find that out, you'll get in your community and start cleaning your community. But here's the thing, though. You won't get in your community because you believe that the Democratic Party, I know that a lot of white people belong to it, so I got to say it. See, because I'm not Democrat nor Republican and got sense enough to know it. Not even third party. But there are many black people that are concentrated on the Democratic Party, and they really believe that the Democratic Party has their interests at heart. Brothers and sisters, it's sad. It really is sad that for us to believe this. It's just so sad. But so many of us believe it. And I wonder why. What is it? I mean, that draw black people to the Democratic Party. And don't tell me it's because your mom is a part of the Democratic Party or some of that stuff. Has nothing to do with that. But it has everything to do with the way that the man has marketed himself to make you believe that he's more superior than you. And that's a shame. That's why we've got to be reading Message to the Black Man. If you don't have a book, I want you to let me know. And with every dollar we raise, a dollar will go toward the book, Message to the Black Man, so that we could get that book out to anyone else that need it, that can't afford it. We'll get the book and send it to you. Because my brothers and sisters, you need that book to hear the wisdom of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and what he's telling us, what we have to do, what we must do to be delivered from this bondage. Brothers and sisters, you need that book. You need the book. This book is one of the most powerful guides that brothers and sisters can have. This book, Message to the Black Man in America by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I just like to read a little bit of this to you. Just a little bit of it to you so you understand the spirit, right? Because you can't get anything but spirit when you read this book coming from this holy black man that's out here to teach us, brothers and sisters, and to save our souls. This brother was put here by God to give us a message. That message not to the brown man, it's not to the yellow man, it's not to the white man, not to the red man, but to the black man. This message to the black man. What is it saying? What is it saying? So I just want to read the morning prayer, right? Message to the black man. And that's page 146 for those of y'all that don't know, because this is very powerful. And I'm only going to read a paragraph of it. And then I'll explain it, and then we'll continue to talk about you loving the roots of the African tree, because that's your goal. Your goal should be to love the roots of the tree so you can learn to love the tree. Your goal is to love Africa, to discover Africa so you can begin to learn to love yourself. And if you haven't done that in this day and time, brothers and sisters, you better hurry up and do it. You better hurry up and do it. Because if you don't hurry up and do this, then I'm telling you that you're lost. It's too late, and it's too late in the evening for you to be that ignorant to not love yourself. And I hear people, I tell you, man, we could, and as black people, I don't understand. We can do some pretty serious things, some pretty ignorant things, and I really don't understand how you could serve a race that has put you in bondage, how you could look to that race more than you can look to yourself. I don't understand it. If the man is causing you trouble on Saturday, he's the devil on Sunday through Saturday. If he's causing you trouble today, he's going to cause you trouble tomorrow. The man's blueprint is known. You know what he is. It's unfortunate that we had a hand in creating that devil. Well, not me and you in particular, but the God race through the failure of Yaakov, who was weak and wicked, to create a race of people for his own vain glory. We're not going to touch that right now, though. We're going to read this message to the black man, just page 146, and just a paragraph of it. And it reads on this wise. Surely I have turned myself, being upright to him. This is the morning prayer, who originated the heavens and the earth. And I am not of the polytheistic, right? The polytheist. Surely my prayer and my sacrifice and my life and my death all for Allah, the Lord of the worlds. No associate has he, and this am I commanded, and I am of those who submit. O Allah, thou art King, there is no God but thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. I have been unjust to myself, and I confess my faults. So grant me protection against all my faults. For none grants protection against fault but thee. And guide me to the best morals. For none guides to the best of them but thee, and turn away from the evil morals but thee. The following brief prayer is, however, the one more generally adopted. Glory to thee, O Allah. Thine is the praise, and blessed is thy name, and exalted is thy majesty. And there is none to be served beside thee. I betake me for refuge to Allah against the accursed devil. A Muslim must say his prayers. When we say that we are Muslim, those who have submitted to the will of Allah, and then we must give praises to the one to whom we have submitted to do his will. If we are believers in the divine supreme being, we are always in need of his help, one way or another. Therefore, it is necessary that we give praises to him and thanks, and ask forgiveness for any wrongdoing on our part. Brothers and sisters, message to the black man, and that was page 146. Make sure here. Page 146. That's the morning prayer. It's a message to the black man. We're thankful. We're thankful that we have this message. We're thankful for direction of the way to go. We're thankful for it. I just want to say a few words about Black History Month. And then after that, I'm going to let you go, and I want to thank you for your time. Black History Month is a time when we should be learning about everything that happened before slavery. Your slavery is not your history. That's not your history. Slavery is an incident of your history. Slavery is an incident that happened within your history, but it's not your history. It may be the history of the white man to put us in slavery, but it's not our history. I want you to understand that. It's not our history. It's the white man's history. It's his actions, right, that makes it a part of his history, because everywhere he's ever went, he's always plundered and powdered, always, because he's worried and every man's hand is against him. You heard the word. He's like Jacob. Everywhere he's ever went, he's created problem. He's the lineage of Jacob. And brothers and sisters, only if you open up your eyes and see. He don't want you to understand who you are, right? Because he knows the time that you embrace history, that it's too late for him. Also, he don't want you to know who you are, because he's busy trying to insert himself in your history. The word white doesn't even exist. My God, it doesn't even exist. And it doesn't. He created the word white to give him a place in history. See? But he'll have you to believe that you're running around in Africa, that you're running around without any clothes on, that you can't speak, that you say ugga bugga boo, iguana. He got this foolishness in movies. When you've grown up, he replays certain movies to children who can watch it. So he have you thinking that this is where you come from, a people that could not speak intelligently to one another, a people who could not speak to their God, a people who didn't know the value of weatherization or putting on clothing, right? When the truth is, it's the African that educated the white man. That's the truth. The African that told the white man, showed him how to season his food and told him he couldn't be sleeping with the animals, so he had to create hog pens for the hogs, chicken coops for the chickens. Put the ducks in their place, the chickens in their place, the turkeys in their place. We have to show this man how to stop eating bloody meat. At the time, he would run and catch his meat. From Adam to Moses to Jesus, they told him, you can't do that. And they preached to these cave dwellers in the cave for thousands of years before they would come out of the cave. And the minute they came out of the cave, we would tell them when they would come out and peek, they would mate with some of the people because they didn't have any food. They wouldn't practice any science. And they were eating raw meat. So we had laws. There are laws in the Quran, laws in the Bible, where it says don't even eat with these people. Don't mingle with them. Don't procreate with them because their laws are not like your laws. You have laws of peace. His laws are laws of violence. You can never believe an oppressor will teach any kind of God other than the kind of God that would keep you in bondage. And if he's going to teach about a God that would keep you in bondage, then he has to tell you about a God that you have no knowledge of. A God that you have no knowledge of. You have no knowledge of your past. You have no knowledge of the God of your past. You have no knowledge of your culture and your ancestors. Brothers and sisters, you don't have any knowledge of who you are. You don't know it. And that's not an accident. It's true. You've been told that Black history, and that's part of the problem. You've been told that Black history is your history. It's not your history. Black history is not your history. Not your history. Your history is a history of majesty, a history of regality. It's a history of psychological, spiritual, and mental wealth in the sense of the arts and sciences, in the sense of money and mercantilization, in the sense of agriculture, in the sense of poultry, in the sense of herd, in the sense of family, love, and value, and morality. So I tell a lot of the women, you use the name Mayat, but you walk around like whores. Can't do that. Mayat is not a whore. Mayat is a regal queen that concentrates on procreation, the unity of family, right? The unity of family. Emoja. We've got to come together. You and I look crazy saying that, well, you're Baptist. I can't serve with you. Well, you're Muslim. I can't serve with you. Well, you're Church of God in Christ. And here's the crazy thing about it is that when that man come up on you to kill you or mistreat you or discriminate against you or show racism against you, right, or hate, he's not asking you what your religion is. The man look at you and the man is saying that you're black. The man is calling you a nigger just like he's calling me a nigger. He don't care. Many of you will still sit down for coffee at the table, still waiting to eat Danish. Is that right? Still fighting with your brothers and sisters and find out that devil is right there in the mix. One on one side, you on the other side, and the devil is right there in the middle, stirring you up. And there you go, and there you come. Acting insane and acting like you've lost your mind. And you only do this because you don't know who you are. You don't know who you are. There's some of them saying, I know who I am. What does it mean? If I ask you your name, you don't even know it. You can give me a name that your parents gave you, and your last name came from the slave master that owned your parents, 9 out of 10. But you don't know your last name. You don't know where that name come from. You have remnants of Africa. You have the resemblance of the African, but something just isn't adding up. Because you don't have the mind of the African. You don't have the mind to say that you're African. You don't have the mind to say that you're a branch of the tree of Africa. You don't even have that mindset. Because if you get into that mindset, then you're going to say, how did I get here? What is my language? Don't know it. Well, Smith, Jones, or Brown is not my last name. Then what is my last name and where do I come from? Don't know it. Well, where did the man get me from? Well, we don't know that either, because when the man got to here, he mixed you up with other Africans that couldn't speak your language, and you made it with these people, not even being able to associate with them. And the same thing has happened today, which has caused the black world to go insane, because you find out why so many homes and all that is breaking up. You haven't took out time to know one another, to speak each other's language, physically, psychologically, mentally, and otherwise. You don't understand the behavior of the individual you're with, because you haven't taken out time to sacrifice, to learn, and love one another. And between you is so much pride that is ripping up the family, because you don't know who you are. And you knowing who you are should not separate you, but it should bring you together. And brothers and sisters, what a time. What a time. Talking about a good time. Isn't that right? A good time when we can get together, understand one another, know where each other is coming from, build one another up where we've been torn down. When we do that, when we can do that as a people, then we're well on our way. We'll walk right out of bondage. To this day, to this very day, we wander around in bondage for over 400 years. Right? I think in the days of Moses, it says that they wandered in the desert on a 3-day journey. Or rather, wandered around in the desert 40 years when they could have been there on a 3-day journey. But many of them wanted to go back in Egypt, going back and forth with Moses. So much so, God told Moses to strike the rock. The rock was to give them water. The rock was to give them sustenance, that they be able to survive in the desert, because they had been there too long. God told Moses, strike the rock, Moses. I'd rather speak to the rock, Moses. Moses struck the rock, dealing with us. Dealing with a people that had no relationship with their past, and their path, and had a Pharaoh, or I wish somebody could hear me today, that knew not Joseph, had no relationship with the people of God. I wish you could hear it like I'm saying it. Had no kind of relationship with the people of God. And if you look today, we've got a lot of work to do, Muslim and Christian. Muslim and Christians, we've got a lot of work to do. I'm so happy that it's Savior's Day. A lot of Muslims will go on and fast, but I pray, my desire and my prayer, that they're reading and empowering themselves while they fast. Read and empower yourself. Brothers and sisters, while you fast, whether you be Muslim or Christian, you should be fasting. Want a Christian to fast with us? Fast with us. So you can understand the reason for your fast, and that your body will get a reboot and your mind will get a reboot to take in all those things that God has out there for you, because this is a generation that will not pass until his salvation is fulfilled. And that's a fact, brothers and sisters. That's a fact. Not going to hold you much longer, because I know we've been here. So I'm certainly not going to hold you much longer, but I just want to say a few other things. The white man doesn't have the history that you have. The great kings and queens of Africa that were there, they pushed knowledge that every boy and girl, from the wealthiest to the smallest, from the more affluent to the less affluent, will be able to get this knowledge and matriculate it down, that they were speaking with one voice. That when they will move as a unit. When you understand who you are. See, a lot of you don't even know the power of Africa and what it truly renders. What it can truly render to you when you studied and researched the history, you don't even know. Because if you did, you wouldn't be calling countries in Africa, Egypt. Wouldn't be repeating these words, Cappadocia and all of that. Because you understand, you wouldn't be saying Libya, right? Because you would understand that that's not Africa. These are colonized titles for Africa. This is not real Africa. Because you go to Kemet and Somaliland, and you go to Sudan, and you go to Afri, which is the city of Set, right? Which is Addis Ababa, or some say Addis Ababa. Do you understand that these are the true terms for the holy citadels of creation and information that you and I, as black people, are supposed to take to the world through word, prophetic word, through dance, a prophetic dance that rejuvenate and revitalize the people. Is that right? The people of God. Then you're supposed to take music, which is universal and common to savage beasts. Brothers and sisters, what do we mean when we say the savage beast? We say the savage beast, we're talking about the white man. He's the only beast on this earth that jaws is dripping like a bloody-jawed wolf and dripping off the whiskers of a bloody-jawed fox. It's only the white man. He's the only one on this planet that has killed people for no reason other than saying that he founded a piece of land that he's trying to own. And if he would only read in the scripture, says that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Is that right? And our job is to be stewards of the earth and stewards of intelligence and stewards of knowledge so that we can give it to our people. This knowledge that we have amongst ourselves and about ourselves will handle poverty. This knowledge that we have of ourselves and amongst ourselves will handle homelessness. This knowledge that we have of ourselves and amongst ourselves will handle drunkenness, drugs, prostitution, pimping, and any other sin that's out there. This knowledge will get the whiskey out of your head, and the bottle out of your mouth. This knowledge will get the cocaine out of your nostrils and get the intelligence in your head. This kind of knowledge can save broken families. This kind of knowledge can complete our children. Is that right? And will return us back to the village model that can raise any child. This is why the white man got you. He knows more about you than you know about yourself because you don't know who you are. What's your name? I don't know it. My name is John. My name is Mary. No, it isn't. It's a name your mom gave you and she learned that from the white man. Well, my last name is Smith, Jones, and Brown. No, it isn't. That's the name that your parent gave to you and they got it from the white man. Well, my parents before them had those names, yep, but they got it from the slave master. The real names of our people were taken from us. The minute we were put into slavery was beaten out of us. Our language was beaten out of us. And they killed a whole generation from 70 on down to wipe out the children of that day and the elders that could teach them. That is the truth. It's the kind of man that we're dealing with. He's racist. He can't help it. Can't help how racist he is. He just can't help it. And this is the time of great truth, brothers and sisters. And we have to be willing to speak it. Learn who you are. Know who you are. Today, it's easier for us to learn our heritage than anyone else in the world. We don't even have to make trips to Africa now. We can take a first-class trip through the internet and learn exactly who we are. Now we have DNA. And if we control that DNA, I'm not talking about Ancestry.com now. I'm not talking about them, and I'm not talking about some DNA that the government is sending to you. Because you let the government have their way, they will have you a part of every nation around which tries to control your anger about this racial issue. And I have to tell you, You should be worried of a government, a governor and a president that sanctions slavery. They said, well, he didn't sanction slavery. He sanctioned everything about slavery because he's still oppressing you today. The white man is still your oppressor. I know some saying, well, I got a white husband. I got a white wife. I got a white friend. I got a white business partner. I got a white colleague. Huh? You may work with a white colleague, but you don't have him. There's some that are saying, well, the white man loves me. He's friend. He's my friend. He may be friendly to you, but to be a friend and being friendly are totally different. Totally different. So, brothers and sisters, we have work to do. We have so much work to do. The main thing is we got to educate our children. That's what I have for you today. You've got to learn to love Africa, because by learning to love Africa, you'll learn to love yourselves. You can't hate the roots of a tree without hating a tree. What I want you to understand is that your ancestry is used and talked about like a tree because it has many roots that stick it in the same fertile ground that creates a certain tree that yields certain fruits. And it's from the roots that the tree is taking in water. And from the tree taking in water, it helps the branches grow. I want you to understand that. And you and I will look like we're out of our mind to say that we hate the roots of a tree, right? Not knowing, not accepting that the branches expect the roots of the tree to get the water and the ground nutrients and whatever else it takes for it to be able to extend its branches and yield fruit. And someday those fruit that the tree is yielding, once they drop, they go into the ground. And what happens when they come out of the ground? And they become greater trees with the same roots as giving life to other trees. We have to learn who we are, what we were doing when the white man came, before the white man came, and the duties that God gave us, because if we can do that, then we'll have a direction for our children. But what we have today, we got whores running around in the church, whores showing their body online, going to church, right? Trying to get husbands. Women walk around naked on the internet, won't even cover their bodies up. You even got Muslim sisters taking the hijab off now. Put the hijab back on, sisters. Cover yourselves up. Ye are the light of the world. Ye are not of the world. You're in it, but ye are not of the world. Brothers that are not living holy and sanctified lives unto God, you're in the world, but you're not of the world. You don't need to start sagging like the worldly brothers are doing, like the rappers, Nelly and all these other rappers. Huh? You don't need to take that on. But when you dress, you should dress holy. A lot of brothers are running around here today with dreadlocks like women. I gotta say it. I'm gonna tell you what's on my mind, whether you want to hear it or not. A lot of the brothers are running around here with dreadlocks like women. Looking just like women. Got it edged up and everything. And it's getting so close, the hair is getting longer, and the t-shirts are getting longer, and the pants are sagging so low, the brothers have begun to take off the pants, and it's going to begin to start happening on a grand scale, have begun to take off the pants, and now he don't have on any pants. Say he's wearing an extended shirt with short pants under it. Pretty soon he'll start wearing dresses all the way out, and you'll see it. It's happening now. I'm noticing it, and I notice that it's happening now, but you don't see it yet, but you will. You'll begin to see it. God is trying to get our attention and tell us to get on his side. And we need to get on God's side so God is on our side. And that's all I'm here to tell you, brothers and sisters. That's all I'm here to tell you. You know, we've got to get busy, and Allah has fixed it, really. So that now, brothers and sisters, when we look, we even understand that we can put things on the internet that it'll be there, it'll be saved there, and we can take that and send it out. We don't even have to worry. Don't even have to worry about people seeing it right then. You can send it right on out. You can live a life. You can choose so many other things that you could be doing on the internet to make an impact other than showing your bodies, showing your ignorance, and showing how much now you don't have to listen to authority, which is causing another wave of trouble. Ignorant parents raise ignorant teens. Understand that. And the best trick the white man has done is to get black people to break up their families. The biggest trick. And to lie on one another. Biggest trick. We can forgive one another and restore one another. And that's what we have to do. But first we have to understand who we are, what we're doing here, how we got here, and how we're going to get out, how we're going to get back, how we're going to do it, how we're going to control our own currency, how we're going to control our families, how we're going to control our religious institutions and not let the white man in it. If we had security guards at the church when Dylan Roof came into that church in Charleston, South Carolina, you wouldn't have to worry about anything. You wouldn't have to worry about it because you'd have securities at the door, watching whoever came in. Right? And we need to watch, and that's why the Nation of Islam do the checks at the door. We watch and check everybody. We don't care if you've been there 100 years or 1 year or 1 second. We're going to check you before you come to that door. We're going to make sure that you're safe for the people, because we already know that the vessel can be controlled by the devil. And we know that there are certain brainwashing methods that the white man is using on black people. He's doing it, not just through the internet. He's been doing it a long time. Been doing it a long time. A lot of our people walking out of here completely out of their minds, completely out of their mind, listening to that white man. Their brothers and sisters to tell you right now, if you tell them the truth about the white man, they'll say, well, that's how it used to be, but it's not like that anymore. That's where we're getting. That's where we're getting. They'll make you feel guilty today. As I come to a close, brothers and sisters, and I appreciate your patience. They'll make you feel guilty today about not interracial dating. They'll make you feel guilty for not having a white woman on your arm. They'll make you feel guilty for not having a black man on your arm. They'll make you feel guilty about all that. They'll make you feel guilty. And if you fall for it, you'll feel guilty. If you fall for it. But they'll do that. They'll make you feel guilty for not being in same-sex marriage if you listen to them. These people are heathens. This is a heathen people that you're dealing with. People don't care about God. They don't care about the community. They don't care about anybody. And they work against the design of God because they know that their time is up. And they're not going to let you nor me gain control of this world and turn it back into a Garden of Eden. He's turned it into a pit of hell because he won't listen to God. He's not from God. He's a man, but he's a kind of man. Adam couldn't save him. Noah couldn't save him. Moses couldn't save him. Jesus couldn't save him. Why the hell you think you're going to be able to save this man? Can't save him, brothers and sisters, because he's guided to destruction. And everything he does, everything he organizes to your detriment. One day, this world is going to be turned over to us, but we have to receive it as a people who have a relationship with God. And if we don't have a relationship with God, then we won't be able to receive it. My desire and my prayer is that you will gain a relationship with God and that you know who God is. The universal God of the heavens and the earth. My desire is that you'll know who he is. You got to know who this God is. The God that sits high and look low, that sees people, a God that loves his people so much that he came down to us to give a message to the oppressed, to give us a message that the white man didn't want us to have. That message would make you do for yourself, make you independent, make you live your best life. You won't have to worry about smoking marijuana anymore. You don't have to worry about drinking yourself to death anymore. Why, you won't have to worry about cocaine anymore or any negative thing that would harm you. You won't even have to worry about taking medicine. Because when you know how to eat to live, you won't even get sick. And brothers and sisters, that's the beginning of heaven. That's the beginning of heaven. As long as you keep listening to this garbage and listening to this deadly direction that the white man is giving you, you'll continue to suffer. God's desire is not that we will suffer, brothers and sisters. But he said, I came that you might have life and have that more abundantly. And what brother and sister wouldn't want to follow that kind of God? The kind of God that will give you instruction, wake you up in the morning, as the old people say, make sure that your bed wasn't your cooling table. Wake you up in the morning and start you on your way. That you know that this is an on-time God. They said he may not come when you want him, but he always on time. Brothers and sisters, it's that kind of God that we serve. That kind of God that we serve. We got to stand, brothers and sisters. Understand what our duty is in this day and time. That we would direct men to the salvation of God, and that they would have life and have that more abundantly. Our job is not to destroy one another. That's not our job. Our job is not to disrespect one another. I believe in the teaching of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I believe in the salvation that the scriptures speak of. But I know that that salvation is within us if we will do the will of God. That if we submit to one another in love, husband and wife, and whomever, whatever the boundary of your male and female relationship is. I'm not talking about same sex, because God didn't put Adam and Steve together. He didn't put Steve and Steve together, and he didn't put Adam and Evan together. He didn't put Eve and Eve together. Is that right? He didn't do that. But he made male and female, right? And he told them to come together and be fruitful and multiply. My job is to always give you truth. That's my job. Unless you learn who you are, brothers and sisters. And there's nothing wrong with you in this day and time, even though they say it is. There's nothing wrong with you marrying someone of your race. Why would you want to marry outside of your race? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. And the minute you want to correct brothers and sisters on this and tell them how much self-hate is in that design, they want to attack you. Oh, I feel sorry for him. Oh, he's so negative. Oh, he's so violent. He's just so hateful. You know what they say, brothers and sisters. Anytime the truth comes to people that are rejecting it, they love darkness rather than light. Isn't that right? So it said God would send them an illusion and put them in a reprobate mind. One of the translations, the old translation says that God will not strive with them and that these people will go into illusion. Right? Wandering knowledges, a land of Nod. Isn't that right? A land and a language and a relationship that has no kind of relation or attachment to your past. Isn't that right? Why, you can look at your skin color, the texture of your hair, and certain features at a glance or slant, and know that you are the people of God, that you are the true children of Africa, why the white man is trying to put himself in Africa and get you out of Africa. And even at that, many of you can't even see it. He's doing the same thing here in America, which was the second Africa. Huh? We noticed it as the end of the land of the West Indians. Is that right? Is that right or wrong? The whole world was dark before it became white. My God. Brothers and sisters, if you just plug yourself into the language, you plug yourself into the mindset of what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was talking about. I'm telling you, it's like fire in your bones. It's like fire in your bones. Like Jeremiah said, he said it's like fire in my bones. My God. But if you plug yourself in to the knowledge that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching, that Master Fard Muhammad gave him, and brothers and sisters, you understand that this knowledge will give you life. That there's water in this well. You drink this water, you won't go thirsty. Because this water will quench your thirst by letting you know who you are, who your God is, and what kind of people that you are. Brothers and sisters, I salute you, and I'm thankful. May Allah continue to bless you in all that you do. And I say unto you in the beginning, if I didn't, I say it unto you now. Assalamu alaikum.